Hey guys, it's Brainrock, and today I'm going to show you the easiest way to complete Citadelle the Morts Easter egg in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Let's get into it. So, first things first, we got to open up the map. So, you can choose either right or left, it doesn't really matter, but you're going to follow the steps as outlined on the objective screen, and that'll get you to where we need to be. Once you return the crystal to the Pack-a-Punch, we'll be able to start the actual main part of the Easter egg. From there, the Easter egg actually begins, so you're going to want to go talk to Craft inside of the prison-looking room. This room is located just right of the Pack-a-Punch room, and you can interact by the wooden door by pressing square, X, or F. From here, you're more than welcome to actually listen to what he has to say, and the zombies will actually leave you alone while the cutscene plays. But you're also welcome just to leave the room and continue on with the rest of the Easter egg. From here, I'm going to do something a little bit differently than other videos. I'm going to tell you that you're more than welcome to branch out here. There's a little bit of a weird steps in the Easter egg where you actually don't need the swords for a very large portion of them. So what I'm actually going to do is actually going to show you the steps to do the swords, but I'm also going to show the steps after the swords that you can do without having completed all the swords at once. So if you get a load there a little bit early, you can work on those until you get the rest of the swords, or you can do them after the swords. It doesn't matter what order you do them in, but for your ease of use, I'll provide a chapter as well as the timestamp on the screen to allow you to jump back and forth as you need. So first off, you gotta get a basic stamp from a night zombie. The CDs spawn in from round 10 onwards, every round until you have all 4 swords. From there, you're gonna head to a certain knight inside of the night room. It doesn't matter which one you want, but they do have stamps on their chest or a raven on the shoulder in case of the raven sword to designate which sword you have per knight. Here's a little graphic of which is which in case you're confused. This is from leaving from like the main room into here. On the left is the stag, raven, then lion, then fire going clockwise. First off, we'll start with the dragon sword because that's probably the easiest one to do and it's really nearby. You're just going to run into the main room of the castle and you're going to place your sword in this little dragon altar looking thing. And from there, there's going to be 3 lit braziers, or whatever you want to call it, around the map. First one we'll do will be on the rampart. You'll want to grab the fire, and you're going to want to run back to that dragon where we put the sword in to begin with. Do note, you do take damage over time doing this, and for the further ones, you're actually going to want to melee a zombie. When you melee a zombie, it's actually going to heal you to full, and you'll be able to continue running, obviously. So whenever you get low, or a little bit concerned to low, just punch a zombie, and then continue running. The second and third one will be in spawn, and then right beside spawn, as you see here. And after you do all 3 of those, you'll have the fire sword. Super simple, super straightforward, and we'll continue on to the lightning sword. So for the lightning sword, you need 3 lightning rods. The first one will be beside Speed Cola. There's kind of a electrical box by the staircase. You're going to want to hit that with either a weapon that has Deadshot on it, or you're going to want to hit it with a shock charge if you want to save that 500 salvage. The second one will just be sitting right beside Deadshot. It's super easy, you don't have to do anything special for that one. And the third one, I recommend only doing this after you grab the sword because it won't show up otherwise, and going straight into the room that it's at. The room being the one with quick revive, and if you kill a couple zombies down there, one will drop the lightning rod. I only recommend doing it right away because if you don't, sometimes you can walk past the room when you have the lightning sword and then it spawns in and then walk somewhere else on the map, and then either maybe a teammate kills and you don't know about it, or in my case that I've had a couple times where you get a nuke and then the zombie drops it in place and I've had to look across the whole map for like 15 minutes and it's just not a good time. So I recommend as soon as you pick up that lightning sword, you just go straight down into that quick revive room and you get the lightning rod because it makes life a lot easier. Once you have all 3, you're going to head up to the rampart, and on the right side there's like a vase looking thing where you put all 3 of the lightning rods. From there, a little storm's going to generate and you're going to just keep killing zombies, and every once in a while your sword's actually going to become charged with electricity. When it does, you're going to want to hit the vase. From there, it'll charge one of the 3 lightning rods. You're going to want to do this 3 times. From there, you'll be able to enter your sword into the vase-looking thing, and you'll wait a couple seconds, and from there, you'll get the upgraded lightning sword. From here, we're going to go into the lion sword. This one's super simple and straightforward. So all you have to do is get the lion sword, and you're going to head to the right side of the town, and from there, you'll see that there is glowing parasites flying around. So all you have to do is kill a parasite with a sword, and your sword's going to actually start glowing, and you're going to walk through this door on the right side of the town that has this little lion icon, and you're going to hit it with the sword. From there should be a rune on the door that lights up, and you're going to continue killing parasites and then whacking the door 3 more times until all 4 are lit up. From there, you can interact with the door, and it'll actually let you inside, and from there, you're going to actually want to walk into the room and place your sword in the pedestal. From here, there's going to be glowing sigils that appear in the sky, and you're going to want to shoot the one that matches the top glowing one on the pedestal itself. So as you can see, when I interacted, the first one that lit up was the circle on the pedestal. I'll highlight it right here. And then from there, it's going to become my snowflake, and then the pointy triangle, and then the other circle looking thing. In all the games I've played, they've always been the same, but do double check the pedestal every time you shoot one just to make sure. After this, you just got to interact with the sword, and it'll teleport you out of the building, and you'll have the lion sword. This is one of my favorite ones just because when it's fully charged, You can hit zombies and actually recharge your armor, as well as when you use its special ability, which is pressing both triggers at the same time. It'll actually heal your health fully, as well as repair all your plates. So now we move on to the Raven Sword. This one's a little bit more convoluted, but we'll try to make it as simple as possible. So you're going to want to head into the alchemy room. This is the room between the stamina up and where you get the swords. There's going to be a bone on one of these tables that I'm looking at. It could be somewhere else, but these are the areas that I've seen so far. From here, you just got to head back to spawn, and underneath the tavern, there's going to be a little like circular thing on the wall. You're going to interact with that actually 3 times. Once to place the bone, once to place the sword, and another time to actually interact with the puzzle. And depending on what bone you place there is going to depend on what sigil you select. So in this case, I got a horn, which is actually significant for Ares. So I lined up the Ares logo as well as the fire logo, and then I hit confirm. I'll show all the different bones and different combinations up on the screen now. Huge shout out to Mr. Rothwaffles. Hope he doesn't mind me borrowing that from his video on the Raven Sword. So now, a portal on the ground in the room that we just did that in is going to spawn on the floor, and orbs are going to start shooting out of the little puzzle thing we just completed. They're going to follow you into wherever you go, so you're going to want to actually lure them into the portal by just kind of training them around or just standing on the other side of the portal. Once you get 3 of them into the portal, it's going to close, and it's actually going to move up into the area of the bar. From there, you're going to repeat the same steps in the bar as you did down below. You're going to get 3 orbs on the ground, and then it's going to close, and it's going to move one more time up to the top floor of the bar. Again, repeat the steps as before, and then from there, it's going to actually go back to the original part where the puzzle was. You're going to interact with the sword, and it's going to go into the void, and it will return as the Raven Sword. So, now that we're done with the swords, we're going to cover the steps that we could have done without the swords. So you're actually going to go right above to where we just were and go into the tavern. And there's going to be 6 bottles, each one with a Roman numeral and a symbol when you interact with it that will appear. Keep track of which symbol is tied to which Roman numeral, because you're going to have to use that in the next step. So just keep track of which number associates with which symbol on either a piece of paper or a screenshot, it doesn't matter. There's 6 in total, and I've showed you all in this rather last 30-second clip. On the way back to the castle, we're going to stop in the stamina up room and collect 4 pieces of paper. 2 will be inside the main part of the room, and then 2 will be in like the sideways L-shaped hallways. They don't always spawn in the same spots, so just be aware that they might change slightly locations, but they're in the general same areas, and they're glowing red, so they should be pretty obvious. There's 4 total, and then from there, we're going to head actually just right down below down the staircase. And we're going to make sure we have melee macchiato, and we're going to punch this wall. It's going to reveal the blue symbols that we were using earlier, and you're going to shoot them in the order that we wrote them down. Once you do all 6 of them, the wall beside is going to open, and you're going to place those pieces of paper we just collected above inside. From here, you're going to have to look at the pages, and I suggest actually writing these down as well, in the order from top left, top right, bottom right, as I have annotated on the screen now. From here, you just got to go look at the point of power traps, and each one's going to have their own logo, as you see here. Some are going to have a circle, some of them won't. Make sure you pay attention to the circle, because the circle is actually part of the thing, and in the case of me, I didn't have any that had a circle besides just the regular eye with the circle. Either way, I walked around the map, and I noticed that the one that I had first was the one right in front of the castle. I activate it, you kill about 10-15 zombies, and it's going to actually deactivate the trap early on, and it's going to do a little bit of animation like you just see there. From there, I see my second one is in the right side of town, so I activate that, trigger it, and then my third one is going to be inside the castle dungeon area. The fourth one is always inside of the room with stamina up. I don't know if this is a bug, so just be aware that it might change future if they patch it. But in all my experiences, and I'm pretty sure right now, all of them, the fourth one will always be in the stamina up room. If you having a hard time finding these traps, there's one on the left side of spawn, inside like the hillside, one in the town, one in the center courtyard of the castle, one obviously in the stamina up room, one down below in the pack-a-punch room, and the one with quick revive as well. So now we got into the steps where we actually have to have the swords done. Before we do this, we have to go and collect all of the incantations from each elemental sword. And yes, technically the incantation is going to be started and pretty much complete before you have the swords, but they can't be unlocked without the swords, so that's why I'm putting this in this part of the video. But you can do all the previous steps except open the boxes that I'm about to show without the swords. So, here we go. So, we're going to start with the light one, or the lion one. In this case, you just got to go into the room with the swords and shoot this from different directions. If you want to shoot it left, you got to go to the right. If you want to shoot it right, you got to go to the left. So you just shoot this until it lines up with the next one, and you're going to repeat this a couple times, and it's going to move around the map. And eventually it's going to end up inside of the alchemy room, and it's going to actually reflect onto this mannequin, which will give you this amulet. From there, you can go back into the sword room and interact with this rune on the ground, and it'll start a quick little soul box. So all you got to do is get some kills and fill up the soul box, and then you'll have the light incantation. And to unlock the box, you just got to hit it with the relative elemental sword, in which case this is the lion sword, and it'll open up, and then you'll have the light incantation. From there, we're going to go and do the fire incantation. All you have to do is either have Molotovs or the fire sword on you and light these fires outside the ramparts. Do note that every time you do this, it's going to actually spawn some zombies in, and just be aware of that. It's really not too bad. The second one is going to be directly on top of the castle doors, and the third and final one is just going to be on top of the left rampart. Just do note that when you do the third one, a double gas is going to spawn, and it's actually going to drop a ink for the ritual for the fire incantation. Very similar to the light one, you just got to go over to the side of the courtyard and you'll see a little glowing symbol on the ground. Place it, get a couple kills, and you'll have the fire incantation. As same with the light sword, it just has to be opened with the fire sword and you'll have the incantation unlocked. Next up is Raven. All you have to do is ride the little slippery slide that's in the Pack-a-Punch, and at the very bottom of it there's going to be a Raven you're going to shoot. And as soon as you exit, there's going to be a Raven now in the sky, and you just got to shoot him down, and he's going to drop his foot, I suppose. From there, we're going to head to the area below Stamina Up, and there's going to be another rune unlocked. We'll place the foot there, get some kills, and then open the box with the Raven Sword. Which brings us to the electric incantation, which we just have to go into Deadshot and shoot down this horseshoe. Please ignore my terrible accuracy here. Then all we have to do is ride the cannon to spawn, and from there a storm cloud will spawn either on the left side or the right side of spawn. You'll see it here on the right side, just above Deadshot Daiquiri kind of area. So all you have to do is then run over to that location, pick up the horseshoe that is now electric, and then run back to spawn. There'll be another rune, and in turn, a soul box. Of course, you got to open that up with Lightning Sword, and from there you have all the incantations unlocked. So now we're going to go down the staircase in Stamina Up, and there's going to be a wall with symbols, as you can see here. Again, we're going back to the Roman numerals, and we're going to do certain things in this order, so keep track of the order that's shown on the screen. We have Stag in this case, Fire, Lion/Light, and then Raven. So I'm going to write that down, and then I'm going to go back up to the sword room. I'm going to make sure in this case that I have the lightning incantation as well as the lightning sword, and then I'm going to walk in front of the Stag Knight in this case, and then I'm going to use the incantation by pressing Q in this case, or my tactical button if you're on controller, and then I'm going to inspect my weapon. And doing that will then allow this guard to salute you, and then it'll light up shortly after with light. And then we're going to do the same thing again with the second one that was on our list. In this case, for me, it was Fire. So I'm going to grab the Fire incantation, run to the Fire Knight, do the salute by throwing the incantation and then inspecting my weapon. And we're going to do that again a third time and a fourth time according to the thing you have inside of your hallway. Do note that if you're doing this solo, I 100% recommend having the reactive plates augment for Jug, because if you don't, the zombies can still hit you while you're saluting, so it can be actually kind of sketchy if you don't have that plate break to then stun the zombies while you're continuing your salute. From here, if all the steps are done correctly, an orb will drop from the sky, and then you got to do 4 trials. Each trial will be located at a location where we grabbed the original incantation. I'm going to do the light one first, which is just on the opposite side of Vulturate inside of the sword room. It's really not too difficult. You just got to make sure you click and activate it, because like you put it in and then you got to activate it separately. For this one, all you have to do is stand inside the orbs, and then the soul's going to go into the orb that you placed. And as you continue, more orbs will spawn, so you got to keep putting orbs into the thing. As long as you do it within a certain amount of time, you should be fine. If it fails, it's no big deal. You can just restart it. And this is probably the most difficult one too, so it's really no big deal. You don't have to have a certain sword to do any of these. They can be done in any order you want, but I do this one first. It's a little bit more difficult, and it's just right there, so I do it first. The next one I'm going to do is going to be the Fire Elemental Challenge. You just got to place the orb right here in front of the castle, and from there you have to get kills with fire damage. I just use Molotovs. I find it's the easiest thing to do. You just got a big horde of zombies, throw some Molotovs at them, and then you're good to go. If you're playing with multiple people, you can just have a horde and have someone kill it with the Fire Sword secondary ability, and then you'll also be good. It's pretty much like one big horde, and you're good to go. Next thing I do is usually the electric one. This one's just in spawn, and I usually just grab the incantation because there's not a lot of good ways to deal electric damage, and the lightning incantation is kind of OP anyways. Sometimes it takes more than 2, but if you have a whole squad, you just get a big horde and then kill them as a squad. If you're playing solo, the round can still flop while you're doing the challenge, so if the round flips, you can just pick it up again and get 2 more, and that's what I did here, and it had no issues. And the last one, of course, is going to be the Raven Sword. This one is by far, I think, the easiest. You just got to make sure you charge up the Raven Sword before you do this. And when you activate it, just make sure you have a full horde, and then just activate this secondary ability and suck up the whole horde. It's literally like 5 seconds of work. Super easy. Once you've done that, you're going to go back to where you saw the original icons in the order of how you needed to salute the guards. And you're going to place the orb inside of that. From there, the door's going to open. You'll have a little, like, not really cutscene, but little, like, monologue that the owl will give you, and you're going to be able to grab the guardian key. with that, you're going to head into spawn, and you'll be able to start the boss fight whenever you're ready. But I would recommend doing a little bit of preparation, make sure you have all the perks you want, probably having some triple packed guns. The guns you bring doesn't really matter. You can bring a ray gun, you can bring whatever. I recommend having something that at least has high mobility, like a pistol or an SMG, and then anything else you feel like bringing. Maybe something you had the whole game or something you just really like. I don't think it really matters, but that's just my opinion. I've gotten through with all sorts of weird stuff, so I think you guys will be okay as long as you're playing a little bit slow. I do recommend having a PhD slider if you have that unlocked, because the movement is really nice to have, but if you don't have that augment, that's also okay. Once you feel ready, you're going to walk up to the statue and spawn, place the guardian key, and there's going to be a short little cutscene after a little bit. It depends if there's monologue playing. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the monologue to finish that the other character's saying, and sometimes it's not too bad. The fight itself isn't too overwhelming. As long as you play it slow, it's usually pretty safe. It's about 4 main stages. First one, his shoulders will be weak. He'll enter immune stage, and then he'll have his boots weak, and then his chest weak, I believe. It could change in order, I don't know. End of the day, if you just shoot him randomly, it doesn't really matter, just may take more bullets, but usually you have enough bullets anyways, because there's enough doppel gas spawning and dropping ammo, so it's really not too big of an issue. I'd say my biggest tip for the fight, outside of shooting for like the armor pieces that then break and then expose weak spots, is to actually focus on just moving all the time. If you move all the time, it's really hard for him to hit you, and not being hit kind of results in you not dying. Who would have thought, right? But I just find armor is the biggest issue in this fight, so as long as you can keep your armor up and you can keep moving, life's usually pretty good. Even if you're not dealing a bunch of damage super fast and the fight goes on a little bit longer than you like. Mainly, just keep an eye out where you can break armor and then shoot them. This will appear blue damage instead of just white, so you break the blue and then it should become like critical damage. If you can't find it, no big deal, continue on. Last part of the phase, this arena will get smaller, so that's the biggest concern. Like the whole, anything outside that little like circle spot is like lava and will hurt you if you're standing in it. It's again not too bad if you played smart. So, end of the day, make sure you have armor. Armor's the biggest thing for me. Make sure you have money to buy ammo, and you're keeping an eye on your ammo if you're low on money. And 3, just play it slow. While also being fast at the same time. Just avoid the hits, play the damage slow. It's okay if it takes a while. And then, yeah, that should be it. Once you're done, grab that amulet and watch the lovely cutscene. Have a good one, guys. Peace. Also subscribe. I'm only 50 away from 1,000. Bye.